Caryn Johnson, co-founder and CEO of Bond. Welcome to the Fieldswell Podcast.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. Excited for you to be here. You have an inspiring story. You turned your personal struggle with an autoimmune disorder and fertility into fuel for creating a brand that helps women take control of their hormone health. Well done.
Thank you. Wow.
Yeah. So tell
I
us.
should take you everywhere.
Oh my gosh. I'll intro you, girl. Tell us more about your journey and how it led to the birth of Bond.
I think, first and foremost, my journey really started not from a place of certainty, but confusion, pain, and really deep trauma. And that did start with infertility for me. I was told everything was normal, but my body was obviously showing different signs of that. At the time, I wasn't really listening to my body at all. People were, doctors were really like my trusted resource, like I wasn't connected to myself. So it took me a minute. I went through the rounds and rounds of, IUIs and IVF, and unfortunately had to lose perfectly good embryos in order to really get diagnosed. But what ended up happening is I fell upon a book that was basically an 800-page dissertation on how the immune system works with the reproductive system in order for pregnancy to occur. And that's really when I woke up and, got the consciousness that there was something else potentially going on in my body, and was able to unlock the pregnancy with my son and carry him to 35 weeks, which, was really a result of me understanding more about my body and who to seek for help and how to get the right answers. Then I really feel like we ask of women today. So we can ask of women today. So that was the turning point for Bond.
It's a really inspiring story. And I think what comes up for me is like we spend so much time trying not to get pregnant. And then all of a sudden it's go time and it's like, wait, I'm not getting pregnant. What's going on? Is there something deeper here? And where do I even begin to find out what that may be?
Yeah, 100%. And the issue really starts with doctors that we seek as our, our ultimate truth, not having the background in all of the systems in the body, right? So when you go and see a reproductive endocrinologist, they're specific to your reproductive organs, right? They didn't go to school for your microbiome and inflammation, that could trigger an autoimmune condition. So that's where the first problem begins for women. And, the stats are really sad too, because you see like huge populations of women, swaths of women just receiving the diagnosis of unexplained infertility, which it's not a diagnosis. And there is a root cause of that unexplained infertility, with about 20% of that coming from autoimmune. So it's about giving permission to people, to women, to seek deeper answers for themselves, to trust themselves too, not just their doctors, and to build the life they want from there.
Yeah. Did you know prior to trying to conceive that you had an underlying autoimmune condition?
No.
Okay.
I didn't.
So you came to find out after?
I came to find out 48 hours before I was pregnant with my son, who's now almost 7 years old.
Oh my gosh.
And it was very scary because I didn't know if I could trust the opinion of these people, because I only had myself to trust at that point, myself in a book.
Yeah.
So I went forward with a round of IVF that they recommended that I not move forward with, because they they didn't think it would work. Basically, what happens when you have an autoimmune condition in your body is your body creates antibodies that reject pregnancy. So you can't get pregnant. Some people can, but you also lose babies. Really, the data is showing 8 weeks, 12 weeks, etc. So anyway, a lot of these women are losing and also not getting recognition for why they might have lost that baby, which is also related to the immune system. So anyway, it was a highly traumatic situation. I went forward with it because I didn't know if I could trust myself. Turns out I could have, but I started a pretty aggressive immunotherapy, which are blood infusions called IVIG, to sustain the pregnancy with him.
Okay.
He was a twin. His sister died at 7, 8 weeks.
Wow.
So, and then I carried her until after I gave birth to my son. So it was just,
gosh.
a wild ride, but
for advice for women who may be going through something similar now, looking back, were there early symptoms or signs that maybe doctors dismissed or didn't catch?
Yeah, I don't want to scare people.
Okay.
Or, obviously fear monger. But for me, what really was the root of my cause, and it all backtracks to inflammation, right? You don't want to have high inflammation in your body. It's going to cause these problems to perpetuate. That's why you see women with, not just infertility, but endo, PCOS, like Hashimoto's, like stack. Yeah. So for me, then the biggest flag was really in my gut, and the inflammation was caused by gut dysbiosis, but I was trying to get pregnant in 2016, 2017. I gave birth in 2018, and the gut microbiome wasn't even really considered. And, that feels like yesterday, right? But it wasn't. And it was, even my naturopathic doctor didn't help me find that as the root of all of my issues. And I was showing up with 200 different food sensitivities. I was basically eating like green beans and protein steak, at the time, because I was so scared to eat anything. But yeah, it was gut dysbiosis for me that then turned into Hashimoto's. And it just wasn't treated, and it perpetuated. And I am symptomless now, but do carry the antibodies. So when my hormones change, such as my estrogen or, really any of them, I am more susceptible to the symptoms, which is why when I get pregnant, there are immune reactions, and why when I move into menopause, I will most certainly have a big problem.
So we go to gut inflammation. For those who aren't super familiar with like autoimmune, is this caused by what we're eating? Is it genetic? What leads to autoimmune?
There are a couple of different reasons. One, too high of cortisol. So
stress
if
hormone.
you perpetuate in a constant state of stress, you are opening yourself up to that. Number two is the earth we live on, right? We live in cities, we live in toxic environments, we eat highly processed foods, which isn't what is meant to really sustain our bodies and our gut barrier, right? And causes problems. So it's a bit environmental, it's a bit stress and hormone related, but again, it really backs up to what's your source of major inflammation in your body, and can you figure that out for yourself?
Yeah. How often, I'm curious, do you think it is for a woman to be maybe misdiagnosed or told their symptoms are normal when they come in experiencing similar symptoms as you were?
I would say that it's abnormal in 20 out of 25 cases, right? But there are blood tests now that you can ask for.
Yeah.
And the good thing about 2025 and the future is that you'll be able to control data on yourself, and to a much higher degree, where you don't have to rely on these people, like I did. For instance, when I started losing babies, they wouldn't give me the miscarriage panel until I lost 4. I was
Wow.
like,
That is
what?
staggering.
Why do you get to
Yeah.
decide,
Yeah. Yeah.
So I do know, and um, try to advocate towards different autoimmune markers that you can test for. I mean, you could get blood tests online if your doctors aren't going to support you or say that they disagree with this line of thinking,
Yeah.
essentially. And there's just so much knowledge out there where, you can kind of figure out if there might be something going on that you can't see.
Mhm.
But
Yeah, I mean, you really took this into your own hands before more information was available. I want to talk about Bond. Tell us more about what it is, how it works, and perhaps what makes it different from other hormone health supplements that are on the market. Your
yes.
baby. One of your babies.
My third child,
Yeah.
Bond.
Yes. Love the name.
My other 2 would say she's my favorite right now,
Oh my
but
gosh. Yeah. She gets the most of your time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
She really does. So Bond is a supplement brand that I launched out of all of this to support women in hormone health and other various situations or issues that they might find, surrounding it, and to really support the foundational systems of their body as well, such as their immune system and microbiome, their endocrine, etc., so that their hormones can move at a normal, healthy, pace for them on an ongoing basis, and they don't have to run into these issues like I did, and can be a bit more proactive to creating a baseline of balance really for their hormone health. For me, Bond isn't just about, trying to get pregnant and helping the autoimmune fertility community. It's about, how do I help women connect with themselves, understand that they can listen to their bodies, and then take that knowledge into, whether it's a vitamin, a ritual of, meditation, whatever it is, but to help themselves and to get back to more of that central state so that they don't have to experience that trauma.
Yeah. And I think what we're saying is to our listeners, to our women, like start now. Don't just wait until you're trying to conceive and something's going wrong. Like start to become aware of your health right now. And Bond has products for you to take now, not just when you're looking to get pregnant. So talk to us about when you think women should start thinking and testing their hormones and fertility markers.
I don't know about testing, but I think they should start considering and almost like acknowledging and like daily health, from the time they get their period, right? And this next generation, I mean, they're already there. They like the amount, because I go out and sample all of the time, right? But the
Yeah.
amount of women that I hear from, of the younger generation who already know that they have PCOS and already recognize problems that are happening in their bodies that we didn't get the opportunity to from my generation. We were just put on birth control right away, right?
Yeah.
That was the
Yeah.
only solution. So they have better conscious understanding of when there's a problem. And I think that that feeds into, Bond really, really being a support system for them, because they can see the regulation of that and carry forward healthy lives, and not have to fear the future like everyone does about like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, 7 out of 8 of my friends can't get pregnant.
Yeah.
They can be more proactive, right? And
Than
supportive.
reactive. Yeah. I mean, I seeing a lot amongst my friends is like everyone now is like, oh my gosh, should I freeze my eggs like early on in case I can't get pregnant later? What are your thoughts on that?
I think that I think that you should freeze your eggs if you don't have a partner and you're 31, 32, and you want to have kids in the future. The number one detriment to egg health is most certainly age. So, you can only take so much CoQ10 and choline, and
Yeah.
I'll sell them to you, but you can only
I'll
take
sell you as much as you want. Oh my
you can
gosh.
only take so much. But
Yeah.
another thing to remember with that one too, if you're worried, is get your vitamin D level checked now. A lot of women are deficient, and that plays a huge factor into your AMH and sustain ovarian function. So you can be even more proactive, on something super easy, vitamin D,
Yeah. Yeah. What are some signs, maybe even subtle ones, that women shouldn't ignore when it comes to their cycle, energy, mood, or their overall well-being that could be going on now that you think pay attention to?
Yeah, so actually, shockingly, all signs and symptoms of PMS are abnormal. So having any of that is actually not in the norm, which is, an issue, because I feel like collectively as a society, we've been told to think my cramps are taking me out, and, over index in that area almost as normal. And it's really not. What I see in a lot of women as being the problem in general is estrogen dominance. And estrogen dominance is causing a lot of those symptoms, such as like a super heavy cycle, or a cycle that you feel like a week before you're actually menstruating, right?
Yes.
Or, the cramps are out of control, or when those types of things happen, it's typically a high estrogen issue. And in that scenario, you can treat things like your body's detox pathways. You can treat things like your cortisol levels, and really find natural root support systems to eliminate those things without letting them persist for the rest of your life.
Getting to the root and taking a more holistic approach to feminine health. How do you think the current medical system falls short when it comes to women's hormone health, and what changes would you like to see?
It's so hard because you still have to have so much respect for doctors and the way that they care for patients.
Yeah.
But I just think it all falls back to they aren't educated on the full body. And we kind of have let ourselves believe that the people that are these like holistic, practitioners, and, the old school like herbalists and midwives, like that community of women, like they haven't been listened to in a while.
true.
But there's this there's this need to, because our doctors aren't it's not that they just want to deny us the knowledge, it's that it's been so ingrained in them that they need to see a specific set of data, right, in order to accept that knowledge. And they didn't go to school for it, so they're not practicing it every day. So it ends up for Bond and for me, this is part of the reason why I was so adamant I wanted to do this, is because so many people share so many things with me, probably more than what is even shared with their general practitioner. And I love that, and I'm here to help. And I'm obviously going to do what I can to be a piece of like that change overall. But that's a sad kind of like, pocket where, women just, they're searching for, the truth.
Yeah, this ancient wisdom. And almost because you opened up about your story, women are gravitating towards you because you led with this vulnerability of like, here's what happened to me, and here's how I want to use what I've been through to help you. Because here's what I've learned. It's like searching for answers.
Yes, exactly.
What was the book you read that really changed your life?
It's called Is My Body Baby Friendly?
Okay.
It's written by Dr. Alan Beer. He's deceased, but the grandfather or father of autoimmune.
What do you
fertility.
think would be like one step you recommend women take today to prepare themselves for better feminine health or a greater success with their fertility journey?
The easy first play is think about your nutrient levels and think about your stress levels. It's there in the data. We struggle as this class of women or this reproductive age of women. We struggle with major nutrient deficiencies, and those are playing a part in major things happening in our bodies, like our immune system modulating. So just an area where we can be proactive about. It's so easy to get levels checked. It's easy to find resources to support yourself in, and you can feel like you're doing something for yourself.
Yeah.
But also, number two, just do not perpetually live in this state of constant stress, because when I tell you none of your other hormones will work, like they don't work if you're in a high cortisol stressed state.
Yeah.
Your estrogen doesn't work. Your progesterone, your testosterone, forget it. So living and connecting to your nervous system is just the key.
Get out of that fight or flight survival mode. Come home to yourself. Caryn, as we begin to wrap up, what is next for you and Bond? Are there any exciting projects, products, or personal milestones on the horizon for you?
Oh, yes. Wait, I have like the chills. I am so excited. The brand is 1.5 years old, and we're going to be in a national retailer this July.
Oh my gosh. Can you say who?
No, not yet.
Okay. Well, stay tuned.
I'm really excited to say who.
Wow.
But yeah, 80% of stores. So real
Incredible
opportunity for me to be able to reach women and for them to be able to discover on shelf too. So
exciting.
Yeah, I'm thrilled.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Where can our listeners find you and follow along with your journey?
Sure. So I'm on social at It's Caryn, CARYNJ. And then Bond is on social at _BondLife. So follow either of us.
Wonderful. I'll link that all in the show notes. Caryn, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story and passion with us today. I'll follow along and we'll talk to you soon.